Hello, Alice here from Latin Budget. Today is September 4th. I just got out of work and found out that my internet got disconnected again, and I am doing watch hours, but it didn't do anything. It didn't watch the videos, so I guess my internet got disconnected like it's been doing for the past 3 weeks. I don't know if they're doing an update or if they're adding new lines or whatever, but it's not working correctly and I can't leave my videos running. So I am running behind on that, but I will complete it nonetheless. That's how come I decided to take a break for September, because my internet is not working and I'm getting frustrated and I want to do my usual stuff. And yeah, anyway, I can watch from work still. I just put it in the drawer and let it in a drawer in my office, and I just let it run. So that's been working. Once in a while I pick it up and I write something like the position where I'm at on that list and the round that I am on. That list is almost complete though. So I did do 4 runs for everyone, and those that have been disconnected have an advantage because I would start it up again. So I'm pretty sure I did more than 5 rounds on those that have been giving me trouble. But yeah, so anyway, I will complete it nonetheless. And now, with that being said, I have to do the closing of August. I have an appointment tomorrow after work for my oil change, so I pulled out the $25 and added that to my wallet. That's how come I have my vehicle binder here, because I have to update that with the spending. And if I have to pull out for my oil change, I don't know where that's going to come out from, but we'll see. If anything, right, else is needed, or if prices have changed. Now, without further ado, let's go to my September is already laid out. I've already made payments for this month, and I am budgeting bi-weekly. Okay, so the opening for this is this week, and the closing will be on the 16th. That's my bi-weekly because I get paid on the 17th. I got paid, today's Thursday. Yeah, I got paid yesterday, so that cleared out. That's how come I made a couple of payments already. Ooh, I did pay this week. Ta-da! I paid that. This was an error when I did the update. This is for my loan and I put it in rent. Yeah, so I have to fix that with, might as well do it right, or else I'm gonna get confused. And I don't know if I have any more stickers remaining, so it's best. Oh man, I can't erase that. Okay, leave it alone. You're gonna make a mess of it. Leave it alone. See, you're gonna make a mess of it. Leave it alone. Okay, so things that have come out already. My Visa payment is due on the 1st. It was Labor Day, so it popped up on the 2nd, but I pulled that out already. I paid it with the ending of August, which you're going to see it's calculated in that budget. I got paid for my monthly job, $100. I got paid for my regular earned income, $812.66. Paid my electricity, PayPal. I paid my Netflix, my cell phone, and I paid my loan. What is due with this check that's left over would be my Roth, that's auto pay, my health and dental, my medical plan, my rent, and MasterCard. That's what's due. This gray or purplish icon looks gray to me. So this gray here is for my other earned income. That's every 2 weeks, so I have a space for that. If I work, I'll get paid. Okay, So, oh gosh, sorry. Okay, I pulled away. I hope you guys can see everything. So yeah, that's what we have so far for September. Now, let's do our closing, which we did. You know, I use my meal plan calendar. I use that for my no spend and everything that I spend in cash. That way I can have a better view and have more control of my variable spending. That's where I sometimes get off on my errors. Okay, so I did do the monthly budget category breakdown. I am off on can you see? No, you can't. Okay, let's see if we can move this so I can use that space. Boop, boop. There you go. Ergo. Okay, so let me set this aside because I know I have to update that tomorrow. So I did do the monthly budget category breakdown, and this is my payments. That's a mess. This sheet I try to do, I'm a negative $6,000 since I don't know how to do that. So no, either that or this is true, and I don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at it. My sinking funds, I'll discuss that in my September. What the balances are, okay? Because we did have deposits there in my binders and in the bank. Okay, so I did close out my sheets. Everything is perfect. Here you go. Okay, I'm gonna pull this out. This is a sheet that I'm using. It's helping me out with pulling out sinking funds. Yes, I am pulling out sinking funds, half on one check and the other half on the other check, and that has helped me out to pay already things that were due for like the 15th or the 16th. They're already paid off because I already pulled them out because I had half, and with the check that I received on the 3rd, I completed the other half, so I was able to make those payments comfortably, and there's still money set off for that. So this sheet has helped me out. I'm really liking it. Let's explain. I have rolled over, I put the amount, I have a buffer if I have a buffer. If I have other incomes, I mark off what are other incomes and I write down my earned income. And I should have put the balance here, but I didn't. But you get the idea. The dates that are due, if I funded anything in the sinking funds, and the categories or the bills. And I include my cash stuffing, my challenges, and this was a challenge that I was doing, rack 'em up, for helping out a small business through budgeting, just because I'm expecting my September one. It's been shipped, and those are 2 frogs, and that's for September. So I will be pulling out, if God permits, $15 on my first check in September and $15 on my second check in September. This sheet here is for this month only. I also color coordinated it with the stickers so I can use it and identify in case I didn't write the month. So yeah, I did this in Canva. What else? The amount that I pulled out from the check would be in this column. The amount, total amount due and paid, will be in this column. If it's not due or paid, I mark it off with a star, identifying that it's not for this paycheck, but it will be surely for the next paycheck. Or if it's every 3 months, I mark off exactly the month that it's due, and I keep on saving. Okay, when it's paid in full and it pops up in my account, I come here and I check it off. So I make sure that has been paid. If it's not due, I mark it off with a star, and I also write a hyphen in it, identifying it's not complete. If the payment did not show up when it was supposed to show up in my closing of my bi-weeklies, I would write a P, meaning it's pending. So that did happen to me since there was a holiday on the 1st of September. This was supposed to be taken out on the 29th. They didn't do it on time, so it showed up on the 2nd of September, and we're going to see that in the other detailed in the other closing. What else? I would write my leftover balance for the next week. I also would write if I have sinking funds saved, like in this category here in my second paycheck, I have sinking funds saved. So when I come to the next month, I bring those balances of each category and I'll put it in. Oh shoot, the space. I'm so sorry. Okay, see, I have my September already set, and I carry over my balances, and I write the amount of the balances saved here, and I identify that's my sinking funds, even though I have it here, because here I have to calculate everything that hit my account. Okay, so that's how I'm using these sheets. They have helped me. I just started with this, and it has helped me out to have a view of what is to come, what have I completed, and if anything's pending, so I can get a grip on my bi-weekly budget. You guys know, if you've seen my previous videos, I have struggled with keeping a bi-weekly budget. Yes, indeed, I have struggled with that. Let me see if it can be better. It can be better this way. Okay, this video, I hope it's not long, so I'll probably 15 minutes. Ooh, wow. Okay, so enough with this. Setting that aside, you're going to see this sheet more often. That's the one that's been helping me out. And yeah, okay. So everything that hit my account, I had a rollover for the 20th of $1,042.96. Income that came in was $812.66. That's earned income. Other income, $125. Those are utilities shared. $100. This is my every 2 weeks pay for my second job, and that is earned income. And that added up to $2,080.62, which that should have been what I brought here. Okay, now let's continue. My utilities for this week and the closing of this month was my water usage, and that's for AAA. That's $249.77. I guesstimated $60, so yay for me. My cancer insurance, as I said, it didn't come out. I budget $21. It's $20, and that didn't come out. Now, since I did not have space for my sinking funds, and I'm trying to budget, sorry for the shadow, I'm trying to budget in my sinking funds now, since it is a bi-weekly budget again. I wrote down what I wanted, which was half of each. Half of the visa, half of my insurance, or not half of insurance. Remember, this is due every 3 months, so I divided that. And it's $32 every paycheck. For T-Mobile, that's $51, so I divided it, and that's $25.50. For my Netflix, I decided to pull out the $10, trying to make month aheads with the simplest ones first. Okay, so I pulled out those $10. That means in my other paycheck for September, I will pull out another 10, and that will give me $20 in that category, and all I have to pay is 10. So I'll be running at least one paycheck ahead for that category. That's how I'm planning on doing. PayPal is $30, so those $30 are not going to be paid in my PayPal in the end of the month, which is this closing. It's to be funded. See, it says $30 for PayPal. It's not going to be paid. I put the hyphen. That means this will go into my first paycheck of September as a balance. It's hot. I did that with Roth. Roth for this month of August came out 3 times, and I did not prepare for that. So I had $10 that extra $10 that had to be paid out, but I was able to do it. So thank God. That's Roth. For Liberty, I pulled out half and set aside in my sinking funds. For my electricity, I pulled out $88 according to last month's payment. So if it's less, I'm good. If it's higher, it's gonna hurt, right? But I took an in-between number. For my loan, I pulled out half, which is $351, and that went to sinking funds. For my health plans, my 2 health plans, that's PSM and my Delta, is a total of $170. For my MasterCard, I pulled out $50, and for rent, I pulled out half of the rent. When I tallied up my fixed expenses with my sinking funds, that added up to $1,225.65, and I did not subtract anything. And I don't have my calculator. Oh wow. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna get my calculator, and I'm going to fix this. Okay, sorry about that. I wasn't prepared. Jeez Louise. Okay, but the total was correct. Whew. Okay, so when I subtract my fixed expenses and my sinking funds from my total inflow, I end up with $854.97. I carry that over to my savings goals, and in my savings goals, I saved for this week $181. That's my $110 for investment. For the new challenge, the Rack 'em Up, which I got on Etsy, helping a small business out. It was for, I saved $15 in this week. My usual challenge, which is $45 the first check, $45 the second. This is the second check. For the remaining dollar, because I pulled out $428, and the remaining dollar from my cash stuffing, I added it to this box that we have here from the Budget Mom. For my Roth, that's $10. It wasn't budgeted because I did not think it was going to be pulled out, but I had 3 weeks, so yeah. So that's how come my savings this week was higher than usual. It's good. It's going to savings. So, and I was able to do it, no problem. So when I subtract 181 from the 854.97, which was my remainder, I end up with $673.97. Now, my variable spending. Before I go to my variable spending, I started this video. I'm just exhausted, and I had a whole bunch of things to cover, and I forgot to say thank you for those watch hours. Girls, you have been awesome. Thank you for my returning subscribers. Thank you for new subscribers. I greatly appreciate it. And yeah, I'm glad you guys are here. It keeps me motivated. So now, without further ado, let's continue with the closing of this week, which now I have a rollover for my variable spending of $673.97. Categories spent: I budgeted for snacks $2, spent $1. Coffee $2, I did not spend anything. Lunch, I budgeted $60, spent $73. But this is the other amount was added to cover my groceries. I went over on my groceries, so that was used for that. And I purchased things that I can do on a weekly basis, easy stuff, from Costco and Sam's, so I can take lunch to work. So far, so good. No additional spending. For tips, I have budgeted $2. I spent $2 for my tie. I have $2, but I did donate on Ko-fi, and I didn't use my cash, so that came out of my account. For gasoline, I budgeted gasoline and car wash. I budgeted $60. I spent $50. That means I have a remainder of $10 in my account, and I have to use it for gas. So that's going to be covered in September. Home, I budgeted $70, spent $60, which is lawn care. For fun, I budgeted $2, did not spend, so I have a rollover of $2. Medication, I budgeted $25, spent $18.14. I have a remainder, I think it's $7, because I rounded it off. For health, I budgeted $10, did not spend anything. For Mia, $15, did not spend anything, so that means I have a remainder of $15. For personal, I had $2, did not spend. I have a rollover of $2. Self-care is $15. I have a rollover of $15 because I did not spend, but I will be purchasing conditioner and curl activator for tomorrow after I do my oil change in the shop. Miscellaneous, I budgeted $10, spent $5. I do believe this was for my grandson to fix his girlfriend's gift that he received from his girlfriend. It broke, and I went and I fixed it. They just charged me $5. I have a total spent of, and I subtracted it, I didn't write it here, 83, of $361.14. When I subtract that from my leftover of $673.97, and up with $312.83, which I then pulled down to my debt payment category. And in my debt payment category, I did not pay anything for MasterCard, but I did pay Visa. Since Visa is going to be charged interest on the 1st of September, so it has to come out of this budget, and that was for $120.69. When I subtract $120.69 from $312.83, I end up with $192.14. That, my friend, is my balance for the end of August that I carried over, oops, here you go, for the closing of the second week. $111.14 is in my first account and 81 is in my wallet, and that's a total of $192.14 plus my sinking funds that I pulled, and that is of $975.88 that I put into another account that I am not accounting for here, so I won't make a mistake and dip into that. No, that cannot happen. So then once I do that, I go to my category here and then grab the sheet that I need for the category. Okay, let me put this back because I am all over the place. This video is going to be a little long, but it is a closing and it has to be discussed so you guys can see the transparency. Okay, now for some reason when I transferred all the details here in this sheet, I am off by $4.94. As you can see, this total inflow did not match my total inflow here, and it's for $4.94. Okay, I don't know, it's $4.94. I know the balance that I have left over, so it must have been something that I wrote here because my budget closed out perfect. You guys saw it. I don't know. Yeah, it does happen when I write and transfer to another sheet, so I'm not worrying about it because I know the balance, and that did work out perfectly. Okay, so for my total inflow for the month, I started with a balance of $824.24. My earned income was $8,000. I wish $1,825.32. Other income $512. Savings I pulled out from my savings used to pay bills, $1,550. That if you saw my previous week, you know that was pulled out from my savings account in order to start doing this, okay, and verifying what is it exactly that I have available, the exact amount. So it was like starting over. When I added all my incomes, that came out for the month of $4,711.56. These are all my categories, and in my food I budgeted $341.79, spent $364.55. That means I went over for $22.76, and that is 8% of my total inflow. My subscription, $48. By the way, I canceled my sticker subscription from Van Lily just to give myself a little bit more wiggle room and see how I'm going to go about in January. I spent $103.40, so I am over $55.40, and that's 2% of my total inflow. For utilities, I budget $702, spent $661.81, which is more or less the usual, and that was down by $40.19. And the utilities is 14% of my total income. For transit is anything that has to do with the vehicle, car insurance, repairs, oil change, etc. And I budgeted $220, spent $209. That means I went under $11, and that's 4% of my total income. For my home, I budgeted $360. My electricity was down, so that was good. And that means that my monthly spent did not go over, but it did go under $36.86. And that's 8% of my total inflow. Self-care is $47, spent $15. So I was down $32, and that's 0% from my total income. For my debt, $938.50. I budgeted. I went over, but this is good to go over in this category. That means I'm trying to pull this down as fast as I can. $1,186.21. That means I went over my budget for $247.71. That's 25% of my income. Yay! For my fun, I budgeted $5. I spent $3, so I was down $2, and that's 0% of my budget. For my tie, I budgeted $6. Spent $2, but this was using my ATM, so I am over budget $2 because I still have a remainder in my wallet. For stationery, this is one of the categories that I changed in 2026 that you're going to see after this video. My new categories and my new worksheet for my categories. Did not spend anything, 0. And for my grandson, Macaco, nothing. So that's 0%. Miscellaneous, I budgeted $36.83. Spent $31.04. That means I'm under budget $5.79. And miscellaneous is only 1% from my total income. Sinking funds. Yay! I finally got to see this. Sinking funds, $975.88 saved. I did not budget for it, but I decided to start doing this way. We'll see if it has helped me out so far. So I'm liking the idea of half of everything. And it's simpler to not stay totally broke in the month. That's 21% of my income went towards my sinking funds. Challenges, I budgeted $105. I'm tired, it's hot. 105, spent 121. That means I saved $16 more than I had budgeted. That's 30, I wish it was 30%. 3% of my income. Not bad, not bad. It's working. Investment is $100. I budgeted. I did add 110. That means I'm over $10, and it's 2% from my budget. My high savings and my Roth, this is automatic, 2110. As I said, it came out 3 times my Roth this month, and it's $31.10. That means it's $10 over budget. It's just 1% of my total inflow. When I tallied up all my spending, that totaled $4,514.48. And my starting balance for the next month is $192.14, which I add to the total spent and end up with an inflow of $4,706.62. That means I am off by $4.94 in this sheet. But when I tallied up all my percentages, it's 100% my total monthly inflows. So it doesn't affect the budget. Okay, so that's how come it's just past the page. If you know the balance and you know that the balance is correct because you checked in the bank, you checked what you have in your cash envelopes, just pass the page. Don't dwell on it because it might be just one number somewhere and it's not worth the headache to go and look for it. Okay, so there you have it. That's the closing for the month of August. And I have to do this video in Spanish because I don't like the translation. And I am not planning on cash stuffing my wallet this week because the majority has to be covered with this check. So I'm going to be too close for comfort in my balance. But as you can see, my rollover balance, $192.14. I had estimated $136, so yay for me. Cell phone came out, Netflix came out, my electricity already came out, and my cancer insurance that was due in August 29th came out. So that means you're going to see this in my other bi-weekly, because this covers August. The other one will cover September. It's not a duplicate. It's because that's the way it has to be. Visa, as you know, I write it here to make sure that I did pay it. So that was paid. PayPal, $60. I already paid for that. And my loan, I already paid for that. So at least the majority has gone out. I still have my rent, which is high, and my health plan. So those are the other 2 bills that are high, but I saved for that. Yay! And we'll see how this week turns out. No cash stuffing, so no cash stuffing for this. We do have $81. I didn't write. I started to write my budget, what I have in my wallet. And yeah, I didn't finish it. So there you have it. I hope this was entertaining, and I'll see you in my next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, activate that bell, comment, join me where we do cash stuffing, sinking fund savings challenges. And of course, we have to budget, because if we don't budget, you know what? You won't know where to allocate for your sinking funds. And I have been doing a few changes. I hope this works better than what I have been doing, and I hope I expressed it the best that I can and that you guys understood it. So I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Adios.